to try and not lose your instinct, to try and not lose your way. I think if something doesn't feel right, it's not right. And to not be afraid to sort of push past that. Because someone will be mad at you, or someone won't like that you say it. I would say that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Okay.
It's something that I've always known, but it's another thing to sort of implement it when you're directing a movie. And I don't even know if it's insecurity or if it's I think you sort of go, well, they must know, because they've, you sort of run that trip in your brain, and the truth is it's not true. Because someone had said it to me who's worked a lot, someone who was on the Larry Sanders show, not Larry Sanders, the Larry David show, someone who's been on that show for many years. And they said to me, our whole thing is no one knows what we're doing. And, and I wish I had sort of remembered that. I would just say, get the best sound person you can. We had a great sound person, because there are things you can't forgive in a movie. As you all know, you cannot forgive bad sound. It just takes you out of the movie. Other than that, I would say if you have talented actors, and obviously everybody in this movie is incredibly talented, I don't think there's anything that you need to overspend on. We had a great DP. He composed a beautiful movie. He's composed the right word, I'm saying his composition is perfect. I would say you can't afford bad attitudes.
Yeah.
I would say that was a big lesson. Negativity is, I think everyone needs to express what they're going through, and if they're having a hard time or whatever. But I just mean, if you think, I have to deal with this because the truth is you really don't. Assuming you're treating people as well as you possibly can, which obviously we did. There are women that are working very, very hard to deal with this issue and to make this issue in the forefront of the news. And honestly, I try to just put as much good work out there as I can and encourage women to do the same. I mean, you can't ignore the statistics, you can't ignore the disparity. There's no doubt that it's, an unequal pay scale. And I had worked an ERA storyline into something that I was writing, years ago, and I know Meryl Streep, I read something that she wants to reopen that issue. There's 3 sisters in a car, and they're on their way to their mother's house. They think their father is dead. And the middle sister is driving, and Wendy's, who's the oldest sister, Wendi McLendon, is sitting next to her in the Volvo, and the baby sister's in the back. And I just, originally, it's not the idea for the script, but the emotion of the script is sisters that don't fight or don't get along just because. Everything is tense. Everything is stress. Certainly there's an undercurrent of stress that they probably grew up with. It's never explained, because how do you explain family stress, really? So the fight in the car is just this spontaneous combustion where, one is complaining about, the weather's bad, and the other one is so irritable, it's sort of a life experience argument. The oldest sister is basically saying to the youngest sister, shut up. And the youngest sister's like, no, but I'm in pain. And the middle sister, who's been through the breakup, is in the most pain. But they're all sort of trying to outdo each other with their level of pain. So it was just sort of one of those car fights, which happen. So that's what I wanted it to feel like, a natural car fight. Someone suggested that I take that scene and put it in a museum just as a continuous, How do we do that? The cameraman was in the back seat next to the youngest sister. I was laying down in the Volvo in the back, sort of hearing it, and, maybe saying, can you say something about this or fight about that? And then, and then we had the AD who was sort of figuring out how the scene would work in traffic and all of that.